Hey guys, I wanted to get on here and answer some of the questions that I've been getting on my Instagram. I'm in my PJs, and reason being, we were actually supposed to restart OT school this Monday, but there were record low temperatures here in this area, and the pipes in our building actually burst, so we got an extra week of break. So I've just been rocking this look all week, and I love it. The questions that I've been getting on Instagram, and I think they're the same questions that I had really in the beginning of the application process. The question is, where do I get observation hours? Now, I got the bulk of my hours at the place that I worked, which was a special education school as a one-on-one aide. This is actually where I found out about the field of occupational therapy. I had no idea what OT was prior to this job. Once I became interested, I just asked her, hey, can I sit in on one of your one-on-one sessions? And she was like, sure, of course. Once I really decided that I was interested and that I wanted to apply, I just started sitting in regularly with her, which was great because I got to see what an OT actually does in the school setting. Around the same time, I started taking anatomy and physiology. At this point, I was in anatomy and physiology 2, and the girl next to me starts talking about how she's an OTA at a hospital. So immediately I'm like, this girl knows what OT is. Nobody knows what OT is. I didn't even know what OT is. So I just took the opportunity to talk to her and shared with her that I was actually applying to OT school and that I was interested in getting more observation hours. She actually ended up putting me in contact with the OT at her hospital, and I began shadowing her and observing that the OT at an inpatient hospital setting. I got to work with the elderly population. This was a transitional care unit, so the patients on this floor were coming from a different floor. They were already kind of on their way out of the hospital, but we're still working with the rehab team, PT, OT, and speech to make sure that they have reached all their goals and that they were safe to go home or to the next facility. So that was my second experience. If you can observe an OT, I would observe an OT. Most OT schools want to see that you're observing an OT because it is slightly different work, but if you're just having a hard time finding any OT experiences, you might want to just get a couple hours with an OTA. My third experience was at an outpatient rehab facility. So again, I was doing my research. I literally went on Google and I just started Googling all of the outpatient rehab facilities in my area. And that led me to this one place, and I just called and I asked if I can sit in on some observation hours. I explained to her that I was applying to OT school, that I had a certain number of hours that I wanted to have before I applied, and she said yes. So I'm not sure if I just got really lucky, but I was also calling a lot of places. So you just need to be ambitious, and if you have a certain amount of hours that you want, if you have certain types of experiences that you want, you should just go out there, ask around, and establish a network. Anytime you meet an OT, anytime you meet anybody in the rehab field, talk to them. They might know an OT. They might know a job opening. A lot of people in my program came in working as a rehab aide. So if you are very serious and you want to accumulate hours at a fast pace, get yourself a job where an OT works. Establishing that network is so important, and just in addition to getting OT observation hours, also getting relevant experience working with people that have different diagnoses. So as I mentioned before, for me, I think it helped that I was a one-on-one aide at a special ed school because my position required me to do some documentation. It also required me to have a say in the IEP, so an individualized education plan is actually created with a group of people, which includes the teachers, parents, the student, the physical therapist at the school, if there is one, the OT, if I didn't say that already. So that was a really great experience for me. I got to see how an IEP is developed and how it is modified as the student achieves more of their goals. Also, I had the opportunity to work as a behavior therapist, and that allowed me to get a better understanding of how we can use the reward system to motivate a student, which is huge because OTs are constantly working with patients to achieve their goals. So we want to keep them motivated, and we want to make sure that they're being client-centered, and behavior therapy really helped me with that experience, and also just see more diagnoses. It is so important that you have experience with people with different diagnoses, because as an occupational therapist, you will work with people that have autism, have ADHD, have had a stroke, or have other neurological disorders that significantly affect the way that they communicate or the way that they just behave and move. So all of those experiences helps you be more comfortable when you're working with that population. So before this video gets way too long, I hope that you find this helpful. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Thank you for listening. Please reach out.